this morning? Why? Shot of this.
To ridge or from hill to hill. That morning, the first day, your Southern forces attacked this position here of the Union. They came from the ridge over there to the right where you see the buildings way over there. Went down the valley, come up and struck this Union cavalry. The Union cavalry had carbines, fast firing, and they were able to repulse that first Southern attack here. But later in the morning, this Union cavalry here were removed by Union infantry, foot soldiers. This is John Burns, citizen soldier, fought for the Union here, and he fought with Wisconsin troops. These troops replacing the Union cavalry here were from Wisconsin, from Michigan, and from Indiana. And attacking this area were tied to the day.
Alright, you say this is the Abner Doubleday Monument over here?
Yes, that's Abner Doubleday.
Okay.
I think it hit the ridge over there, way over to the left. The barn here to your left was used as a hospital first. My great uncle was a surgeon here with the Union Army, and my grandfather was drafted in the Union Army, and he was a horse breeder. They put a uniform on him and sent him home, gave him a contract to raise our Army horses, which he did. He raised several teams of horses. Well, he got $200 for a horse, which is pretty good money in those days. Of course, Grandma liked it that he was home, too. Left turn here. On the mountain's edge, you can just about barely see them, are Blue Ridge chain reaching from Virginia through Maryland into southern Pennsylvania here. And Lee invading the north had come up behind those mountains. And it wasn't until he cut through a pass to come over here to this small town of Gettysburg to get shoes and other supplies that these armies met. When they met, they added regiments and brigades to each side and then blew up into this major conflict. To get shoes over at Gettysburg, Lee found he had to withdraw those troops he'd sent north, and they came back and they mounted their troops on that ridge where you see in the distance. The light up there, a monument with the light. Well, these troops had been marching for 3 weeks and they needed shoes badly. And we had Swiss people here at Gettysburg, and so he sent a contingent of forces to pick up these supplies. And when he did, of course, the Union Army had moved up from Washington, and they did meet in this area here. The government is buying land up here to some degree. Farmers are too old to work the land, and they're selling it. And in order to preclude parties in McDonald, the government has had to buy this land. I wish I'd had some to sell. You're right straight here. The area in here was a hospital. They buried a lot of bones across the street there in that hollow. You can see the hollow in there. This this monument here, it's called the Peace Monument here at Gettysburg. It was put here in 1938 and dedicated by Franklin D. Roosevelt, president. But this is a southern position. This is Southern artillery up and through in here, and your Southern troops coming from the north. the first day.
To the cemetery.
The rock walls are not farmers' fences. They are not combat action. They face the wrong way.
I took 2 pictures of
You got it?
cemetery.
Off to the left here, the stone building was here at the time. You notice these buildings here, they're very small. The roofs are very small. Cemetery Hill up here is Union Commander here, General Hancock.
See it, I'm going to take a picture of him.
Yeah, just ease along. You're okay.
Oh, him and him.
The National Military Cemetery. Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, Korea. Vietnam are further over. Now your fields over here to the left are where the Union soldiers are buried. And you notice going through those fields are concrete dripping. To the left are New York burials. Across the pathway are Pennsylvania. Park here, man. Right here?
Now, this is a monument where Lincoln made his Gettysburg address.
I see it.
You see it, don't you?
Uh-oh, I ran out of film. At least I got my back.
Are we in your way here?
You're okay. Thank you.
My picture's over.
The Union positions on the third day of Gettysburg. This is the site of Pickett's charge. Where the Union positions were, and that's where the Confederate positions were. General Robert E. Lee over there.
you know.
All right, go ahead, Dave.
I can't, there's a car up there, the door's open.
Go ahead.
We tried to put cannonballs by the guns, but they were stolen. You can see the hoop where the shells are. And the shells in there.
Pennsylvania Monument at Gettysburg. This is the largest monument at the Gettysburg battlefield scene.
Now, he did not see that advance, evidently, but he saw what he thought was all the indications of a concentration of rebel troops. Keep in mind, the signals line ended right still. He got the men up here and deployed, and in that time it took to get the men, get them up here and deploy them, the rebels had already attacked. They had actually captured Big Round Top, due south of here, and then they wheeled to the north and came down off that hill and struck this hill from the south. A very savage battle took place on the south slopes of this hill. And then it quickly spread all the way up the Union line. Roughly 20. I agree. Biggest charge was the most dramatic part of the battle. And I think you can argue this part here is bloodier. There were actually more casualties here during this 3 or 4 hours of fighting. And Lee, I think, had a little better chance of winning here because the hill was not secured. Where on day 3, when he tried to charge, the fish took pretty good shape. So on day 2, you know, they still had some imperfections. Notably, the politicians down there in the valley.
Yeah. Do they have some?
Ultimately, after the Yankees got this hill secured.
Take a picture of us on the thing. Yeah.
Move.
No, that's all right. Let him sit there.
Yeah, this is about 25 square miles or more.
Your legs sticking. What? Hey, if you don't want a beautiful picture.
these men have driven straight through the center of the Union line and almost to where you are standing. That clump of trees in the foreground was the target, the aiming point which General Robert E. Lee had chosen to guide the center of his attacking forces. This clump of trees and many other features of the landscape are still to be seen today. On the day of Pickett's charge, the Union line ran from the round house, which you see there on your left in the spotlight, past the clump of trees and along the crest of the ridge in front of you. But as you see it now, there is nothing that even resembles an orderly defensive line, for the impact of Pickett's charge has just turned it into a chaos of smoke, death, and destruction. The Confederates have come toward us from all the way across that enormous field, nearly a mile from the woods in the background. And as they marched across that field, they made a sight that no one who was there would ever forget. Nearly 15,000 soldiers on a front nearly a mile from end to end, coming on in line after line of battle. It was Pickett's division and parts of 2 other divisions, men of Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, moving steadily with the crimson flags of the Confederacy flashing above them in the sunlight. They were under Union artillery fire most of the way, and as they passed those Cadore buildings and came up the slope in front of you, the Union artillerymen changed to canister. Cans of iron balls fired like giant shotgun shells and tearing ranks apart with a hail of death. So by now, as you see them, the regular formations of Confederate brigades and regiments have almost disappeared, and they have come up the slope simply as bunches and swarms of men and flags, with men falling, flags falling, but flags being picked up again and coming on. And now, in several places, they have broken through the Union infantry, while at other places, Union men are still holding. This part of the Union line in front of you had been mainly defended by artillery, the 6 guns of Cushing's battery, but the battery has been all but destroyed. One of the caissons is blowing up. Guns are being hauled away. Lieutenant Cushing himself, the officer in the white vest by the cannon near the yellow flag, has been mortally wounded. Nevertheless, Pickett's charge is nearly over. Union men from Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, men from Delaware, Ohio, Michigan, and Minnesota are closing in, firing on Pickett's men from front and flank. Looking to your left, you can see a man on a black horse just crossing a road. That is Major General Winfield Hancock, and he is ordering up more troops. Right in front of him, the 72nd Pennsylvania is rushing to the attack, while all to the rear of us and around us, other Union forces are coming up. Directly ahead of you, by the red flags just right of the clump of trees, Lewis Armistead, the Confederate general who led the attack over the stone wall, is falling with a fatal wound. Falling among those tangled knots of men, fighting in their last desperate efforts through a smoky haze of fear and fury, fighting with clubbed muskets and bayonets. Pickett's charge, one of the most courageous in military history, has run its course to a high watermark of valor and devotion. And of those who came across that field, 2 out of 3 will not return with the remnants that will soon go streaming back toward the distant forest. The men of Pickett's charge have lost the day, but all who fought here, north and south, gained imperishable glory. But a battle is much more than brigades, regiments, flags, positions, tactics, terrain. It is mostly people. You see a few of the wounded, the dying, the dead. And these are multiplied by thousands of other fallen men who are lying hidden by the bushes, the grass, the golden wheat, all mingled in this vast panorama of battle as far as the eye can see. Personal tragedies too many, too far-reaching for the mind to comprehend. This action on the afternoon of July 3rd, 1863, was the final chapter in the Battle of Gettysburg. A battle in which North and South, Americans all, suffered 51,000 casualties.
Under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
He and his associates completed this giant painting, more than 100 yards in circumference and 26 feet high. The painting was first shown in Boston. It was brought to Gettysburg in 1913. This presentation of the Gettysburg cyclorama is one of the recreations of our nation's history, made available to you by the National Park Service of the United States Department of the Interior.
Line of trees is known as seminary children.